Greetings to everyone. This is Siddharth from Department of Civil Engineering, Hindustan College of Engineering and Technology. Today we are going to deal with the topic bar charts in construction planning and management. When construction planning and management was introduced, bar charts were one of the most predominant things to be used in construction planning. This offers a very simple solution, mathematical solution, graphical solution for all our planning problems. If you clearly see here, these are the most simple and easiest way to generate construction schedules because at that time we do not have any sophisticated software technologies to develop planning for a particular project. So we used mathematical or graphical methods particularly to develop the schedule for a particular project, and bar charts were the pinnacle of those design parts in our construction planning and management at the introduction part. It is widely used due to its simplicity and multiple adaptation of numerous events. This offers a very simple solution because when we are talking about mathematical or graphical solutions, every engineer should be able to understand what is being done in the project planning, right? They have to understand the schedule, whether they are acting according to the schedule, they have to check it, monitoring should be done. So for this purpose, all engineers were able to understand this mathematical and graphical related method, that is your bar charts, with at very ease. So this multiple adaptation is also another part where numerous events can be integrated into a single bar chart. And the second one is bar chart are formed with a list of activities. You can specify all the activities in your project. Like if you are starting with the excavation can be done. After that, you have to place your formwork. Concreting has to be done. For concreting, you have numerous steps like every ingredient should be mixed, it has to be placed, it has to be vibrated, the finishing has to be done, every curing has to be done. All projects or all activities related to your project can be clearly specified in this bar charts. And the second one is your specifying the start date. If you are going to particularly start a project at a date, you can actually specify the date, so the real life comparison can be done. If I have started my project and it is the seventh day of my project, I can actually check with my calendar whether what is the date today, whether I'm going according to the schedule, whether my schedule is correct or not. Everything can be checked. And the duration of the activities can be specified. Like excavation, if you're starting a project, excavation actually takes 5 days or 6 days, so that can be actually checked. And the completion date of each activity, that can be even checked in the project. Like if you are scheduling according to the bar chart, this bar chart will actually give you the completion date of each activity. So when you check this completion date, you can actually relate to the physical form of your completion. That is, if the excavation has to be completed within 7 days, you can actually go on the seventh day and check it whether the excavation is completed or not. Then plotted on the project time scale, you can actually plot the time scale on your project. Like if you have different activities to be done on your project, like excavation, concreting, finishing, painting, whitewash, you can check each activity's duration clearly on this bar chart. Next point, the detail level of bar chart depends on your project complexity and the intended use of your schedule. If your project is very complex one, if you have more number of activities, then at those times this bar chart is slightly in a more a disturbed way. You cannot clearly interpret what the activity is going on or what the duration is of a particular activity, or what activity is going on today, whether it is being completed. When you have numerous complex activity, it becomes very tough to follow this bar charts. There is a variation of a bar chart which is called as linked bar chart. Here we will be using arrows and lines to tie the activities and subsequent items, specifying the successor and preceder of each activity. Right here, this gives a clear advantage over the normal bar chart where we will be using arrows, particularly after if this activity has to be completed after this activity, like B has to be completed for the starting of C, like A, B, C are your activities, that can be clearly specified in this linked bar charts. The previous activities are linked to one another to demonstrate that one activity must be completed before the other activity can start. Right? This actually gives the basic ideas. Like if A has to be completed, then only B can be started. If C has to be started, then B has to be completed. The interlink among all the activities in a single project can be clearly seen in this linked bar charts. The main use of this bar chart is to detect the amount of resources needed for one particular project. What are the kind of resources? What are the amount of resources that is required at various point of a time? You may not be actually requiring paint at the starting point of your project. Actually, painting is going to be done on the end of your project. You need paint at the end. It is not at the starting point of your project where you go and purchase paint. So that can be clearly confirmed from this bar charts. Resource aggregation is done by adding resource vertically in the schedule. I'll explain in the upcoming slide. I have a bar chart which is actually done, and it can be clearly seen from that bar chart. The dates are given, the activities are given, the completion part can be understood. So I'll explain everything with the chart in the next slide. Let us see this bar chart with an example here. I have given A as site clearance, B as excavation work, and C as concreting work, D as brickwork to DBC, and E as hardcore fill to slab. Then we have F as roof purlins, G as roof installations, and H as roof covering. If you clearly see, this is the duration of my project, like first day, second day, third day, fourth day, fifth day, and it extends up to 12 days. For operation A or for activity A to be completed, we need 4 days. So that 4 days is actually represented here in this bar chart. And for this excavation, this clearance of site must be completed. That is, after this 4 days only, I can start the 5-day duration activity, which is excavation of my fields, and it starts on the 5th day and it ends by the 9th day. This is clearly given here. So if there is any overlap of activities in our site, this can be clearly understood from the bar charts. And also, if you see here, this overlapping or parallel activities can be clearly seen this from this second part, where if you clearly see, this concrete work is done on the first 3 days, that is first day, second day, and third day, and brickwork can be started on the third day before after completion of activity C or concrete fills. This means that there is no relationship between activity C and activity D. And if you clearly look here about activity D and E, D is not completed here, but E is actually started here, right? This means that there is no interrelationship between D and E. And here also, if you take this part where F is requiring 6 days, that is roof purlin is requiring 6 days, but before the completion of activity F, G is started here, and before the completion of activity G, we are going to never start the activity. That's because roof insulation has to be done before roof covering. So with this model chart, this is a very simple bar chart for any project where this finish to start or start to start or finish to finish can be understood clearly. Imagine some very big complex projects where this bar charts can be practically used, and for better understanding of parallel activities or resource allocation or for labor allocation, this can be done. But practically what we are doing right now is that we are totally dependent on the project softwares which are readily available in the market right now. We don't follow this bar charts, as this has become obsolete right now, but this forms the basics of those softwares. If you are clearly able to understand this bar chart concepts, you can be able to understand the softwares like Primavera, MS projects, like those things. Thank you.